It's the Al Travis Show, and when we talk farming, we talk Jerry Groskreutz because, of course, farmer extraordinaire. Jerry, how you doing, my boy? You look good. You're getting over all the sicknesses. You're getting good, aren't you?
Oh, all of the cornitis and fieldworkitis disappeared earlier this week when you could get a little bit of that smell of burned diesel fuel with a tractor out in the field.
That,
Yeah.
it is so funny to look at you. Folks got to join us on the YouTube thing. You are a happy camper. You light up when you start talking about your feet getting dirty, your boots getting dirty, getting in a tractor. You just light up.
Yep.
Are we
and some grease under the fingernails.
there? Yeah, just a little taste of grease on you. Okay. Brownfield was talking about a guy in South Central Minnesota, Wisconsin. Waseek. You probably know Tom Selvik, farmer out there. Anyway. He's talking about getting out and planting this week. We talked last week. You can be daring. You've been out, I take it, turning the ground upside down because I don't know why you people do that, but you do it. So you turned it upside down. Now where are you at? Are you knifing in the pig poo? Are we at that point? Where are we at?
No, that was done late last summer, and all my fertilizer got on last fall except that one field that the co-op had their big anhydrous ammonia rig, and they broke two knives because the frost was starting to set in.
Ooh.
So the co-op spread urea over the top earlier this week, and I worked it in. And today I'm going to be out starting to plant, even though they're talking rain tomorrow, and it's supposed to get a little bit colder. But you know what? If other farmers are out, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for Jerry.
Okay, Jared, but you were talking, I'm trying to keep up. You tell me one thing, the next week you're out there doing it. Aren't you concerned, what do you call it, cold shocking or something?
Cold shocking the seed,
See, you didn't think I listened last week.
Yeah.
Cold shocking the corn. So now you're out here saying, but I just can't help myself. I'm going to go plant what you talking, beans or corn? What are you putting in for?
I plant the corn first, although earlier this week, some corn was going in the ground and some soybeans. But I'm dragging my feet just a little bit. I'm going to start on Wednesday and get some in the ground. Everything is working perfect. And then we'll see how much the rain is. But the soil temperatures are up there pushing 50, a little bit colder the last couple mornings. But it's supposed to be nice and warm today. And so I'm going to go out and put some in the ground.
But why do you play with me like this? Like I'm a fool, like I don't pay attention. You are worried about the cold frost in these bad boys. Now you throw it out there, you get a little rain, it's too chilly, it's cold rain because it's not going to be warm. You're not worried about doing that to that kernel.
Oh, it's in the back of your mind. Over all these years, I've only seen it once, and that was a few years ago. So I'm going to put some in the ground. And you know what gives me the confidence that it's going to be okay? This is my routine. When I get the planter out of the shed, get it all ready to go, and you think everything's ready, but is the monitor going to work and all the electric eyes? So really, really early in the spring, before anybody's out, maybe a little dry on the top, I'll put some corn in the planter, a little bit left over from last year's in the boxes, drive out in the field for a couple 100 feet to make sure all the monitor, all the rows and everything are working. A number of years in a row, that is the best looking corn. When I go out later, if it's in a bean field and the field cultivator, it's the nicest looking corn I have when I planted it just to make sure the planter was working.
So do you even hear yourself now? I think this is funny because you've been doing this for so long. Your biggest issues are whether the computer comes up and the screen is there and the cameras work and all that.
Yeah.
Jerry, can you believe what you've got now compared to 40 years ago? No camera monitors, no flipping screens. You just got in there and giddy up, buddy. We're taking off.
And you sat out there in the cold and the dust and the heat, and now I sit in my nice cozy cab with the air conditioner on or the heater, and all I can say is I was spoiled in my old age.
Yes, you are, but I love it. Okay, so let me ask you this, and I know I've heard of it, 90-day corn or 120-day corn. If you're planting this early, if I'm just doing the math, you plant this week, all right, that'd be the 16th, May, June, July. You're going to be picking corn out 90 days later, July 16th corn?
No, because we still kind of rate it by relative maturity, 90-day, 100-day, 105-day, but it's still all kind of according to the heat units, and the crop slowly moves along. So no, we'll be out there hopefully early October combining corn, even though those
Look,
days don't exactly correlate to calendar days.
well, I was going to, okay, but let's do this then. If you put in 90-day corn or 120-day corn in, extra whole month, but it's all about how it germinates, gets through the process. Does generally a longer to do corn give you a better corn yield, more corn to the biscuit? What happens here?
Well, you have to worry about that first frost. Now, the last couple years when we had all kinds of heat units, the
Mm-hmm.
105, 107-day corn actually had a little bit higher yield because it was more growing degree units, longer maturity, and it did take advantage of it. But we've also seen killing frost the end of September, very early October, earlier than normal. And if you've got that really long relative maturity hybrid, now all at once it didn't get to maturity. So now you took it on the chin. So you go kind of toward the law of averages.
All right, and that's fair enough. Do soybeans have the same ranking? Can you get 90-day soybean and 120-day soybean? Or
They're ranked by numbers, and it's like a 1 bean, a 1.5, a 2.0 bean. So they're ranked the same way. And you can run into the same thing if you plant. Typically, we don't plant anything longer than 2.1 or 2.2. You go down into Iowa, southern Iowa, they plant 2.5 or 3s. We planted them up here. They wouldn't be far enough along and mature by the time Mother Nature gets us in the fall.
well, I believe you are, according to Birdseye, the preeminent pea guy in the area. Are peas in
Oh,
the same way?
uh, I don't know a lot about the maturities that they plant
Wait a
because,
minute. You're there every day. You messed them up last year. What do you mean you don't know?
no, that was 2 years ago when
Was
I
it?
had a
Okay.
little bit of herbicide drift.
Okay. So
Yeah.
how do you not know that? Do you watch it every day? What do you mean you don't know?
They come out and plant it. Back in the day, I used to have 12,000 pounds of peas in 50-pound bags on a trailer that had to get dumped in the drill one at a time. Now they come out with their great big John Deere front wheel
Really?
assist or four-wheel drive and a 40-foot air drill. And the air drill has a big hopper on it. And the hopper swings out under the semi. They run the peas in, and then they plant it. So I don't know what varieties they plant. They plant what,
Oh.
and the same way with the sweet corn. I plant the sweet corn, but Sabrina calls me up a few days ahead of time, say, "Hey, you're coming up. Looks like next Tuesday," to make sure I get the field ready. And magic, this sweet corn seed shows up in the shed with a note on it is what population she wants me to plant it at. I say, "Yes, ma'am," and I go out and plant it.
Don't you ever get the feeling, and then we'll go to break, that maybe she's just using you for your big plot of land?
They are.
They are. That's what I'm saying.
That's the
Poor
whole
Jerry.
idea, Hal.
He's Jerry Groskreutz, farmer extraordinaire. We got to talk more tariffs. It's the whole story again today. We'll talk tariffs here in a matter of minutes with my man, Jerry Groskreutz, right after this on the Al Travis Show. He is Jerry Groskreutz. He's being taken advantage of by that fine agronomist. Jerry, I love having you on the program. You said something last week, which I repeated,
Uh-oh.
and then I got yelled at by my farmer friends. Why do you?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Who are we talking to? Well, it must have been at the golf course. So they were talking about tariffs again. That, everybody's got to talk tariff. Tariffs is everything. If it wasn't for tariffs, then we wouldn't talk about anything. But the tariffs came up, and I said, "Hang on, guys. As I understand it, we have almost an entire year to get this squared away." "What are you talking about? Tariffs starting tomorrow." I said, "Let me throw this out to you. This is according to my man, Jerry, the farm guy extraordinaire. Most farmers by today have their seed, their fertilizer, their input costs are taken. There isn't anybody out there looking to China to say, what you're going to bring me, right? We got this down." I told them that. I said gas prices are actually going down, as I understand. I don't know if it works for tractor gas or not, but so far it looks like gas prices are going down. So you have this season to withstand the tariffs, right? The tariffs won't hit you, if I'm not mistaken, until possibly fall when you take it all out of the ground and then know where's the prices, right? Am I missing something? Did I not say it right?
No, you said it right. Now, you have some pork producing friends, and
Yes, I do.
don't you remember I said I'm worried about my pork producing friends
Yep.
because pigs eat all my corn and my soybeans, or the turkey growers.
Yep.
So if their exports, because didn't I say too, we export like a third of the pork that we produce?
Yes.
And so they could be impacted sooner. But in terms of raising corn, soybeans, sweet corn, and peas, all this stuff is in place either on the field or in sheds or at the co-op, and it's ready to go. So we do have time to work things out, and hopefully things settle down between now and fall when, or actually, I guess it's usually August, I start looking at what's the price of fertilizer for fall.
Okay. Because this is NPR. They're talking to some guy from Illinois, Northern Illinois, farmer for 50 years. These tariffs are going to affect everything. It affects our parts all across the board. Another guy from Star Tribune, soybean guy, talking about how this is going to just upset everybody. This is all over the place. I'm like, Jerry, you don't seem to be use this story again for me if it's still true, even though you've had a week to think about it. There's only so many beans grown in the world.
Yes.
And yes, China can get mad at us for tariffing them, so they go to Brazil, wherever, right down there, and say, we'll just buy you up. We got to get the bean. We need the bean. You got the bean. Okay, so they take that. Seems like they're getting away with something. But the rest of the world still needs the bean, right? And the bean's the bean, and they'll come to us and get the bean without the tariff. So why do you understand that, or why does that make sense to me and you, and NPR and the rest are having a problem?
Yeah. Well, I think some of it is the media trying to hype everything up and cause controversy. And here's the other thought. Free market system is typically pretty efficient, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So say you're a company in China and you need beans. So you go to your good buddy in Taiwan or name your country, and you say, hey, I'll give you 2%. If you go to the United States and buy the beans, and they're loaded here, and they head the direction toward Taiwan or wherever, and go a little off course and go to China. That sort of thing happens all the time, and it has in the past. And that's maybe one of the reasons I wasn't too upset, because remember, the first Trump presidency, he was trying to address the trade deficit with China, and the bean price did go down a fair amount for a short time. And the Trump administration, it was called Market Facilitation Program payments. And we got a payment from the USDA because we took it hit in the prices for a while these things work out. So the other thing maybe that could affect us before, I was thinking about this earlier this week when I stopped at my local John Deere dealer to pick up some parts, few odds and ends I needed, and it occurred to me, I wonder where some of these parts come from. Would they be coming from overseas? So that maybe would impact us earlier. But on the other hand, computers do everything. Every John Deere dealer knows how many different parts of every part they sell, from a little to the big, and they're either on hand in the local store or at the regional parts house, or maybe a bigger one. They know how many they sold in past years. So most of those parts are here already too for the spring.
All right, I've got to go. We're running out of time. But give me this, get on something more positive that you love. Get thinking about going outside again. So you're going to go outside, get this bad boy started. If we don't get too much rain, how long will it take you all to get everything in? Are you looking by next week we talk, you're going to be, I'm done, Al, I'm done for the next summer. All I got to do is sit around and wait for the money to come in? Or how long will this take?
Well, last year, if you just looked at actual days that we had in the spring, given all the rain, I was talking to parts person at my John Deere dealer, and farmers got the crop planted about 2 weeks. 10, 14 days, we had all the corn, all the beans. And sure, you've got herbicide applications and all those things, but actually getting the crop in the ground was in about 2 weeks. And that's just mind-boggling how fast we can do it now compared to when I was growing up.
Well, no, absolutely. That's just crazy. But that means we have a couple more weeks to talk about planting season. So we'll get you back in here in a week. I presume then you will go 24/7, balls to the wall, if you'll pardon the expression, until you get her done. That's just your style. You're not the guy who's going to work 8-hour days.
Well, I have to get up at 3:15 in the morning, go to the studio first. So I try and get 5 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah, you run somebody over, Jerry. I'll tell you what, you got to be careful out there, buddy. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you doing this for me, Jerry. Get out there, enjoy yourself, and get some sun on your face. You love it out there. Get some dirt under your nails.
And I'm looking forward to our pig swimming.
Oh, we got to discuss that. I absolutely, the buddies and I have been talking about this pig swimming. Talk about your leanest pork ever if it spent the entire summer swimming in some lake. We'll talk about that. We'll do it next time. Jerry Groskreutz on the Al Travis Show. Farmer extraordinaire. Love having this cat on.